Boy, do I have something special for you today, my little pork chop. Welcome back to another edition of the FOGO Life. I'm your host, Captain Ron. So today, I'm going back to my childhood and something special. My dad used to make these breaded pork chops on the grill. Oh, so good. So I'm gonna show you how he did it, except I'm gonna kick it up a couple notches. Now, I'll just bet that when you were growing up, if you had pork chops, they were probably a little dry, a little shoe leathery. Yeah, well, we're gonna avoid that today. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something cool. You know how you like bread chicken cutlets? Well, we're gonna bread these pork chops, and then we're gonna cook them on the grill, raised direct. As far as the pork chops we're gonna use, recently in a video, I showed you how to break down an entire pork loin, and I made some pork chops out of it. Well, guess what these pork chops are? Right out of that video. So we're gonna use the pork chops from the pork loin, right out of the center, and we're gonna bread them, we're gonna grill them, and we're gonna eat them, and they're gonna be delicious. We cut them really thick. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna cut them in half because I want a thin pork chop. Because of the breading, I don't want it cooking too long and burning all that breading on there. So we're gonna take these beautiful center cut pork chops, and they call it center cut because they're from the center of the loin. We're gonna add a little heat to it, so we have a little sweet and a little bit of heat. Gonna be absolutely phenomenal. Now let me show you how to start preparing these chops. Okay, now our first step is going to be to bread these pork chops. So we're gonna set up a regular breading station as if we were doing chicken cutlets to fry or something like that. So we're gonna use flour, we're gonna use eggs, and we're gonna use some seasoned breadcrumbs. So we're gonna have 3 different spots here. First the flour, then the egg, then the breadcrumbs. The reason for that, once you dip it in flour and you dip it in the egg, it lets that egg really adhere to the flour really well, makes the breading process a whole lot better, makes the breading stick better. So let's show you how to do it. First step we're gonna do, we're gonna add a little bit of garlic salt into our flour. So take a good sized pinch and some black pepper. Now I like to grind my own pepper. I also like to use the coarse grind on here. And we just mix it up, okay? Combine it all together, and that's it. This is not our super flavor, we're just adding a little flavor into it. Now for the eggs, very simple. Like that, and like that. Mix, stir. Combine them up complete. You don't want these eggs. You want them all combined up. And this one's the simplest of all. I use Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. All right. Spread them out here. We're just going to dunk it right in there. I'm using my beautiful Ramertoff plate. By the way, you can use this thing on the grill. You can cook on this thing. It's pretty cool. First one. Now, pay attention. I'm going to learn you a little something. We're going to do 2 different hands, okay? This is going to be my wet hand because I picked up the wet pork chop. This is my dry hand, okay? Got to coat it in flour, shake off all the excess, drop it right in the egg bath. Now, what am I going to do now? Oh, I'm going to use my wet hand to do it. Nothing worse than doing this and then having a giant handful of gooey breadcrumby batter. Ugh, it's disgusting. So we got to coat it up nicely. All right, look at that. Now we drop it right into breadcrumbs. Boom. Wet hand, push it down. Dry hand, coat it. If you want to go really crazy, all right, and you like a lot of breading, dunk it back in there. Okay, and then bread it again. The rest of them I'm going to do a single breading, but you can do this. Just give it a little extra flavor. So before we light the grill up here, we're going to make our sauce. The reason being, there's a bunch of stuff in here and I want those flavors to kind of meld together and really combine so that when we sauce these things, that sauce is actually super flavorful. So I'm going to start with this. It's called duck sauce. Now what this is you know when you order Chinese food and you get duck sauce? Well, those little packets, well that's exactly what this is. So I don't really have exact measurements. We're going to go at about 5 tablespoons. 2, 3. You know what, I changed my mind. We're just going to go with 1 cup. So that is 1 cup right there. Next I'm going to add some hot honey because we got plenty of sweet with the duck sauce. So we're going to add some of our hot honey in here. Now I'm just going to give this a couple squeezes. 1, 2 squeezes. That's probably about maybe a tablespoon. And now for some extra hot sauce, we're going to add some of my buddy Dark Side of the Grill's hot sauce here. Heartbeat hot sauce. This stuff is amazing. So I'm going to give another about a tablespoon. And now you know the next step. Yeah, that's right. To the fridge! The time has come to light the grill. So we're gonna be doing some direct grilling, so we're gonna use FOGO Black Bag. This is our grilling charcoal. It's great for short smokes and great for grilling. So this is what we're gonna use. All right, kids, our grate is nice and hot. Our grill is nice and hot. So we wanna start with a nice clean grate for this. We don't want all gook getting on our thing. So I like to use a wood scraper, no metal. All right, just put it on here. You can see it forms little grooves. Just fit them right in that grooves. Cleans it right up. Ooh, that's hot. Ooh, that grill is hot. Yeah, baby. And now for the pork chops. So, just gonna take them. Ooh, they're nice and cold. And stick them right on there, okay? Now, we're grilling raised direct. I did not fill the charcoal basket up all the way. You don't ever wanna fill it up all the way. Raised direct means you want a good, decent amount of space in between the food and the heat. And now that we're on here cooking, boy, you can smell those breadcrumbs beginning to toast already. I almost forgot. Mandatory 3 clicks. You gotta calibrate them. So anyway, so what we did here is, just to kind of recap what we did, put a nice coat of flour, eggs, and then breadcrumbs. I use seasoned breadcrumbs. Put it on there, let them sit in the refrigerator, set that breading up really nicely. Now we just put them over direct heat, okay? Raised direct means there's a lot of space between the food and the flames. We don't want these breadcrumbs burning on here. We want them to toast, but we don't want them to burn. So, you know, it's something you gotta keep an eye on as you're doing it. All right, it may require some flipping throughout there, but they're already starting to toast up and they've only been on here a couple minutes. So these are gonna be so good. I can't wait to share this with you. Okay, let's see. Ah, yes, toasting up beautifully. So you want to keep turning them, you know, all right? You don't want them to get too toasty on one side. So if you have to turn them 10 times, turn them 10 times. Look at that beautiful browning on there. Gorgeous. Just what we're looking for. I want to touch on these tongs for a second, actually, because as I'm reaching over here, you know, reaching across the grill, these are super long tongs. So when I have a fire going like this, it's nice because I can reach across and actually not burn my arm and work with the food. So they're extra long. My hand is over here. I'm able to work with the food and not burn my hand. I like to work and not burn my hand. It's much more fun to cook. These are just about ready. They're just under our desired temperature. So I'm gonna take them off, I'm gonna sauce them and put them back on, okay? Look at that beautiful golden brown. That's exactly what we want. Okay, kiddies, it's saucing time. So I took them off because it was getting really hot. Take about a tablespoonful, put it on each one. This is not rocket science. Now we're just gonna put them back on there, sauce side down. And now we're gonna sauce the tops. And let's give them a flip. And they're done. Now that is one heck of a meal. I'm telling you what, if I could, I would grab each one of these and hand one to each of you because it's just that good. They are so juicy. Now it's hard. You don't want to overcook them. I don't know if we showed it too much, but I did use a thermometer, okay? Brought it to about 140. That's all I brought it to because you want it to, it's gonna remain cooking. It's gonna still cook after you take them off. So these are perfect. They're juicy as can be. You know, I say thank you, Dad, because my dad used to make something like this, like I said earlier, when I was growing up, and I still remember it. And I still make them to this day because it's just good. It's simple, it's delicious, and it's good. If you like simple, delicious, and good recipes, make this, okay? And let me tell you something too. I know we do a lot of videos and you're all watching because I see the numbers. So if you're making something that we made, or if you're making something using FOGO Charcoal, do me a favor on your social media. If you're posting it, tag us. Tag us at FOGO Charcoal. Hashtag FOGO Charcoal. Hashtag the first ingredient. We'd love to see what you're making. We might even put you on our Instagram, okay? Really cool. So I think I better do one more thing though. You know what that is. Oh yeah. This is why my dad is my hero. Seriously, that is just so good and so simple. You know what? The sweet from the duck sauce, the heat is just absolutely fantastic. I mean, I could use a million different adjectives to describe them, but it doesn't matter. I want you to try this. I'd love to see you make this. Simple, delicious. Great weeknight meal, okay? And listen, while I've got you here, you know what I'm gonna say, right? It's a YouTube channel. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit like, and leave us a comment below. Tell us what you're thinking. What are you cooking up this weekend? And until you do that, I want you to remember one thing. I don't care where you're at, if it's snowing, if it's sunny, whatever it is, get out and grill. And I'll see you next time on The FOGO Life.